What's up, everybody? How's it going? Good to see ya. Hopefully you're having a great Wednesday so far. I don't know if my chat is broken. Why is this all... Oh, there we go. It is pretty hot out, that's for sure. Hello, hello. Good. Doing well. Our family situation that happened last week has kind of gotten resolved. So we're on the upturn from that. So not too bad. We had a family member dealing with some mental health issues and yeah, just dealing with some mental health issues and we've hopefully got them on the right track, so much better now. Naruto G Fuel, let's go. Let's see here. So the finished hand is pretty much this right here. I'm gonna shrink this down a little bit. But yeah, this will be your finished hand. So once you get it to this point, you can turn it in. There might be actually a couple more things that we'll do with it today, but if you turned in this would be fine, right? Posed, fully modeled, ready to go. Okay. And then you'll just submit that as your finished hand. Okay, what I want to do here now is I'm just going to shrink this stuff down a little bit. We'll kind of store those over there for a minute. We'll put this hand back over here. Okay, because what I want to do next, as far as everything goes, the assignments, I know I need to work on getting a couple things updated. I think for you guys, it's mostly okay. But let's just double check here and make sure everything looks good. Nope, hand position does not need to be the same as mine. Nope, just posed. Okay, let's see here. Hopefully that works now. Just check canvas here. I just want to make sure everything looks good. Okay. We'll come in here. So this one should be gone since last week happened. And then everything else should be okay. Finished hand will be due today. Yep, that's fine. Okay, cool. and we'll talk about a tennis question in a little while. Okay, so for today, we're going to be working on the torso like we were going to last week until we had our little mishap happen, okay? So the first thing that I want to do, right, is I've grabbed all of my references that we were kind of working on last week, so I want to bring these into our scene, okay? So I'm going to jump into the front view here, and I'm going to go down to view, and I'm jumping into the front view, remember, by hitting spacebar. I'm going to jump into my front view down here in the bottom left, click on the little view tab right here, okay? And then I'm going to scroll down to where it says image plane, and I'm going to hit import image. I believe we did something similar to this, right? I don't know why this is being so weird as of late. Let's see here. There we go. My computer. Let's get to the desktop. Hopefully I can find my deal here. Okay, so I'm going to import my front. Do that here. So now I have my front view, which I can bring in. There shouldn't be a file restriction on the hand turn in. Let's see. I'll turn that off. Sure, if you want, I can even throw them in the Discord if you want here too. I'll grab my front, side, 3/4. I'm gonna throw a couple more references in here too, but I can throw these in the Discord for you guys if you want them. I'll toss them in the Discord. Just give me one sec. Let's go here. Let's see here. Can I paste these? There you go. Perfect. Thanks, Ethan, for letting me know. Okay, so I've got those. Those should be in the Discord now. So I've got my side or my front view here. I'm just going to kind of line it up in the center. Try to get it lined up the best I can. Okay, then we'll take this and push it back. Okay, then I'm going to go to a side view here. I'm going to do the same thing, hit view, image plane, import image, and we'll go to our side view. It's so annoying that it keeps doing this. Open that up. And all I need to do is just make sure that it's scaled properly. So I'll bring this up and kind of line it up with this. Just do my best to get it scaled properly. Make sure that his feet kind of line up in both directions. just do this too. Looks pretty good to me. Okay. I'll just rotate them 90, come back to my side view here. Let's make sure this is lined up from the side. As best it can be. And I'll come over here and we'll just push this back a little bit. Probably just move the hand out of the way for a minute. Okay, then I'm gonna go to the front view again. I'm just gonna throw in my 3/4 view just to make sure things kind of look okay. So I'll go here. I'm gonna go to another image plane and import another image here. Yes, yes, I would do it in the same file as the hands for sure. I'm actually gonna grab two if I can. So we'll do the 3/4 view here. We'll open this one up. Then we'll go again. As soon as my Maya decides to respawn here in just a second. Freezing up on me. Come on. Thank you. I was gonna do All Might, but I decided to change my thought here a little bit. So I want these. These are just some good references here that I'm just gonna put in here and make sure that I've got for myself. I could throw this one up too on the Discord. We'll grab this. I'm not super worried about the 3/4 view, but I can. Okay. All right, so now I've got all these in here. What I want to do is kind of bump this up because I am going to end up using this as sort of my arm reference here. For this side here. Just kind of want to make sure that it's about the same. Arm size, and I think it is, so. So I'll end up using that a little bit for the arm, I think. Okay, cool. So now what I want to do, might end up using the same thing for the back too. So I might get this going too for the back. Cool. I can throw this file up in the Discord too real fast if you want. It's just a good little... Okay, those should all be in there now. Now what I want to do is I'm going to add these to a layer. So I'm just marquee selecting all of these images, and I'm going to go over here to my layer editor, my channel box layer editor. And I'm going to hit this little button that says create a new layer and assign selected objects. And I'm going to click that. And then I'm just going to change these all to a reference by clicking this little third button until the R pops up. And now I shouldn't be able to click these anymore. They're there, but I shouldn't be able to click them. Okay. So now I've got all my references kind of set up in here so I can start modeling and working through all the different stuff here. Okay. So what we're going to do is start working on our torso, and the first kind of piece of geometry that we're going to use for the torso is going to be a cylinder. Okay. So I'm going to drop in a cylinder right here, just a base cylinder. We'll scale it up a little bit, but I want to drop it down to be a 12-sided cylinder. Okay. We're going to come in here over to our attribute editor, jump over to the poly cylinder tab under the attribute editor. And under the subdivision axis, I'm going to change it to a 12-sided cylinder. And the reason we're doing that is because we just don't need a ton of geometry there quite yet. So we're just going to use this for the time being. And then what I want to do is I'm going to break this up. Let me actually grab a torso that's in progress, just so you can kind of see why we're starting with this cylinder and kind of the end goal too. So let's go here. I should have a cylinder, a torso somewhere that I could show you. It's very early on. Go here and go to... Oh, is it this one maybe? Maybe human 5. One's a little bit too far along. Let's see, maybe human 4. That one's not bad. Was human 3 too far? Did we do human 3? We did. Okay, so we don't need to worry about this piece yet today. Let's just get this here. Okay, so if you can tell, we're going to be somewhere around here. So I just wanted to bring this in to kind of show you guys what we're starting from, or where we're starting with that cylinder, but this is where we're trying to get. Okay. So let's grab that cylinder one more time. We'll bring this in. Just going to scale it up a little bit. We'll bring this in. We're going to drop it down to that 12-sided cylinder. Right? Because I think over here, this is how we ended up doing that. It was 12. Yep. Perfect. Okay. So we've got a 12-sided cylinder. And then what we need to do is kind of break this up into some sections. If we look over here, I think I've got something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 edge loops. Oh yeah, sure. No worries. So under the layer tab, all you needed to do was grab your reference images, right? So have them all selected. And then under channel box layer editor, there's a little button that says create new layer and assign selected objects. So if you have all these references selected, right? And then you click that button, it should pop up with a new layer here. And there's these 3 little buttons. And if you click the 3rd button on the right, you can click it until it has a little R in the box, and then they should all be set to be a reference. So they're not clickable anymore until you turn that R off over there. So I'm going to go ahead and throw in, like, let's just throw in a few edge loops here. And maybe we'll do it a little bit more evenly. So let's go ahead and throw in like 6 edge loops. Something like this for right now. And then what we need to do is just start shaping this cylinder to look more like a chest over here. Okay, so what we're going to do is take our button here at the top of our shelf that says X-ray, just so we can kind of see through this. And then what we're going to do is, by double clicking our edge mode, we're just going to start shrinking in, or you could do it in vertex mode and marquee over it, right? Just kind of start piecing out this torso. You can even bring this down here and just start grabbing these edge loops and kind of matching them up to your reference. Okay, so we're trying to shape this to be more like a torso. Okay, you don't even need to bring it up that far if we don't want to. Okay. And don't worry about the arms, right? We're not trying to get the arms in there. We're just going for torso right now. Okay. And if we need to add more edge loops in here, we can, but we'll just try to focus on this for a minute. And we're going to go all the way up to kind of the base of the neck here. And if we need to, we can add in some more edge loops, however we need to do this, okay? This other one that we had out of the way. Then I'm going to come to my side view here and do the same thing, turn on X-ray mode. And again, I'm just going to start taking my vertices here. I'm going to do my best to kind of start matching the shape of this, right? And if I need to, I can move my pivot point. So again, to move your pivot point, you can hit the D key on your keyboard. And then if you want to snap that to the end point here, you just hold V while you're moving and it will snap. And then you can hit R again to scale. And you can just scale from one side, so it'll shrink these down a little bit for you. is kind of nice. So like again, go to this edge loop. Kind of shrink from the one side. But if I do want to reset that, I can just reset that pivot too by hitting the D key again and clicking out in the open space. You'll see this little reset cursor pop up, and I can go back to scaling the old way. Again, if we need another edge loop in here, we can grab one, right? So we could throw one here maybe if we want to try to grab this a little bit better over here. Okay. So we're getting there. Again, I don't want to get too crazy with this yet, but we can start really taking a look at how this torso sort of lines up. This guy is pretty stacked too, so it's gonna look a little interesting at first. I want to delete the top faces out here, so I'm gonna go into face mode. Hold tab, I can paint select, right? So I'm gonna paint select these and hit delete. Building out that torso. I might grab the backside, a couple backside vertices here based off of what those our characters kind of back is looking like over here, and use these to help shape, but it looks like it's more down here. Jump back over here and kind of use those to bump them out, and then we don't have to use the front side vertices to make that. Okay. At this point too, you could kind of start taking a look at some of these vertices here as well. And just sort of making it look more like a chest over here. So if you want to line some of these verts, kind of how that chest lines up, that's fine too. And again, we want to make sure we're hitting kind of the right spots in here. And our references aren't always going to be perfect, right? So like our chest may sit here on this side, but on our side reference it may not perfectly line up. Again, I'm just trying to match that reference, so I'm just moving. This is a little bit of pixel pushing, right? We're just moving references, making sure things line up the best that we can right now. And then what I also want to do is I'm going to take this edge loop here, and I'm just going to do a little bit of a scale down here. Just to where I think that neck would line up. Our character has a bit of a wide neck there. And I might take another edge loop through here just to help get that scaled properly. And again, just because our reference isn't perfectly lined up, we can try our best to get to where we think it needs to be. Check our side reference again. I'm going to kind of tilt this a little bit. So we're just doing our best to kind of get that torso lined up. Okay. Then what we need to do is work on figuring out where our shoulders are on our character, right? And kind of where those arm holes are going to go, right? So if we have something like this, we remember when we talked at the beginning, we wanted to make sure we had a 12-sided cylinder for our arm. Okay. So I'm going to take an edge loop and throw one through here. And we are going to work on getting that 12-sided cylinder, right? So if that's where our shoulder kind of lines up there, that's fine. What we want to make sure is we have enough edges around this hole, right, to get a 12-sided cylinder. So we got to do our best to try to find that. That's too big. I think what I ended up doing on this one was there was 3 here. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And we had okay, that's fine for right now. So we're going to take all these faces here, if you're following along with me, and I'm going to delete these. Then I'm going to take this edge and double click this, and I believe there's a tool called Circularize that's super helpful that I've used in the past to help with this a little bit. Perfect. Okay. So if you go up to edit mesh, there's a little button up here called circularize, and that will just turn this into a circle, which is super helpful. Okay. And then we can kind of scale it up and down and pull it out a little bit too. Okay. And then again, once we've got that, we can kind of try to do our best to line it up with where that shoulder socket looks like it would line up over here. Then again, just doing a good job of kind of double checking our reference here. Need to adjust some of these back up. Might flatten some of these out again real quick just to get a better idea of where we're at here. Okay. Again, if I need to, I could throw another edge loop through here. And then use that to kind of adjust. Make sure we're getting the right shapes on things. And then what I want to do from here, once we've got this, right, is I want to delete half of this model. One, because we've already done the arm on this side. So this is where we're going to use, you know, the mirror technique here on our model to make sure things line up nice and even. Just making sure my back two edges here are straight, because sometimes when you mirror and they're not straight, it doesn't play nice. So just make sure this is kind of snapped to the center of the grid there. And then I'm going to do a little bit of work here on the sides just to make sure I'm kind of where I want to be. Then I'm going to come here and I'm going to use a mirror command. Okay, so we're going to go mesh, mirror, and I'm going to click the little box. Okay, actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to hit mesh, mirror. I don't need the box because it will pull this one up, which is good. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure it's set to bounding box. Okay, again, I think we talked about using the mirror function a little bit in a previous stream, but I want to make sure it's set to bounding box here. Okay. What that does is it just kind of puts a fake box around your object and says just mirror what's within this boundaries of this box based on this object. Okay. Then I want to make sure I'm mirroring in the x-axis, and again, since I was on the positive side of the axis, I need to mirror it in the negative. And then I also want to make sure this merge threshold is set really low, just because I don't want to start merging verts that I don't want merged, right? I just want verts that are super close together. For example, the ones along the center line here to merge together. Okay. Then I can hit Q and it will take me out of that. And now I should be able to see my torso over here. Okay. And now I can go about kind of adjusting these vertices, making things look a little bit nicer. If you want, you could also work in X symmetry while you're doing this, just to make things look and feel a little nicer. I'm just gonna kind of space these out at the chest. Maybe bring some in at the front of the neck here. Certain verts I can kind of bring in. Yours mirrored it the wrong direction. Change whether it's negative or positive in that axis. That should hopefully fix it for you. Also going to kind of bring this down a little bit towards the waist. And then we'll bring it down on the side view. The back too, over here. Just make sure, again, at every step of the way, we want to make sure we're staying true to our reference image, right? The best we can with the current geometry that we have, right? Okay. I'm just going to kind of push some of these vertices in at the back just to help simulate that back a little bit better. Okay. So the next thing I want to do here now is take these two edge loops. I'm going to turn off Object X. I'm going to take this edge loop and extrude. Okay. And I'm going to bring this out. And I'm also going to shrink it down and pull it back in. Okay. And then I'm going to end up being able to use this edge loop that was here in the body a little bit more. So I can kind of disperse that edge loop, which is nice. right? Gives me a little bit more geometry. Then I can take this piece here and use this for the actual shoulder, okay? And we're gonna want that geometry for later on. So again, I just wanna make sure that that lines up with where I think that shoulder should sit. And this will just, again, help us get the right geometry at this shoulder here. And if I need to, I can extrude that again. Do the same thing here. We'll probably just delete half of this one more time. Just since we're working on this side right now, which is fine. If we wanted to, we could extrude that one more time on this side. Give us a little bit more geometry there. Just in the end, we get more geometry to work with, which is always good. And because our reference is just super jacked, we're going to want all the geometry we can get in some of these areas. Okay, cool. All right. So that feels pretty good at that spot right there. Again, I'm just going to do a similar mirror again one more time. So we'll hit mirror. If you have it kind of set, it should hopefully work the similar way. I'm just going to double check bounding box, those good things there, which looks good. And then one more time of kind of double checking my reference, right? And if I want, I can, again, jump that symmetry on. Come say hi. Say hi.
Hi, I'm Chloe.
You are Chloe. Okay. Merge set at 0. There's a little crack in the center. What you could do is, if you have that, there's a little crack in the center. You could take all of these verts down the center and just scale them back towards each other. And then once they're all touching, you can highlight them again and go to Edit Mesh and hit Merge. And it should merge them all back together. Hopefully that helps, Victor. So one more time, highlight over all of them, and then hit R and scale them back towards each other until they're overlapping, right? And then highlight the whole center line again, hit Edit Mesh, Merge. Boom. And that should merge verts that are sitting over the top of each other. So hopefully that helps. If I need to, I could throw another edge loop in here. Again, because the reference that I'm using isn't 100% perfect, I'm just kind of picking a side in all reality. And saying, okay, this is the side that I'm going to follow more strictly, right? Say, okay, this is the one that I'm going to use. Oh, okay, good. No worries. Hopefully it worked. Hopefully that fixed it in the end. Again, I'm going to do the same thing because I just edited that one side. So I might make a couple more changes here. Just see. I think I'm actually okay for that right now. So let's just check the back. Okay. So we're going to jump back in here. Mesh mirror one more time. Bounding box, negative 0.01. Okay. Let's drop the symmetry back onto X. Again, I'm just trying to get kind of the chest shaped out just a little bit here. Doesn't need to be insane. We don't need to go into crazy levels here. I would like to try to get it shaped out just a little bit here. not need to be perfect because we're going to come back over this area anyways. But just to try to get it feeling right. Definitely be coming back to this spot. Okay. When you try to delete a side, it creates a whole engon that looks like the side that was deleted. Oh yeah, don't delete. Yeah, make sure you're deleting faces, not edges. That will definitely do that to you, for sure. Again, make sure we're lined up with our reference. Okay, we will be coming back to this area, so I'm not super concerned. That feels okay right now. There are definitely some spots that need adjustment. But it's okay right now. All right, so that is starting to feel like a human torso, right? Okay, the next step here, I'm going to go like this just because I like to be able to see it. I'm going to go mesh display and hit harden edge on everything just because I like to be able to see each individual polygon for right now. Just makes it look nicer, and then once we get to a point, we'll go through and soften edges. But I like to be able to see that, and then when I hit smooth, I want them to go away, right? Okay, for the arm, the next step here that we need to follow is we're going to take this, actually, from our front view, okay? And we are going to extrude out, or there's a couple different things we could do, okay? We could go ahead and do an extrusion like this. I'm going to turn off my symmetry. I could come in here, right here, and hit extrude. And just pull an arm out, right? Like this. And that's fine. That would be just fine. The other method that we could go about doing is grabbing a cylinder, measuring it out based on his arm here, and then rotating it and attaching it, which I think is what I'll probably do. I end up doing more of like a Frankenstein modeling method just because it makes more sense in my brain. So I'm going to take a cylinder, kind of overlap it with his arm here. And then I'm going to take this vertice, bring it up to where it kind of lines up here. And then I can also go about doing some scaling, right? We could also end up doing, you know, like the A pose method where you just model the character in this A pose, but I tend to like doing T pose better. It's probably not a bad idea to save too at this point. Hopefully my Maya doesn't crash here, and I should save. Something else to note, if you didn't take my class from me, my previous Maya class, or if you didn't take EAE 1050, which is the excuse me, digital content creation. So if you didn't take those from me, you may have not heard this spiel before, but Maya is not a very forgiving program. It tends to crash. It tends to not respond, or it will definitely, you know, crash, break models. It will do that to you. Okay, so I advise you and encourage you to save as much as possible. Hopefully this is not going to crash on us and I'll be able to work. Looks like we're good. So I'm going to save just because it's being weird right now. So I'm going to hit. Oh, and before you save, one, because there is a in previous versions of Maya, the mirror tool that we've used today is notorious for breaking models. It's super powerful, but it's also very good at like destroying your model. So what I'd like to do, just to avoid that, is I'm going to go to edit, delete all by type here under my edit tab, and I'm going to hit delete all by type history. And what that does is it just tells Maya, hey, all these objects in here are just the objects that they are. The steps to get there are irrelevant, and we don't want to worry about the history of those steps. Okay, so with that being said, to delete those steps in that history, you just go to edit, delete all by type history, and that should hopefully be a deterrent for your model to break and crash. So now I'm going to go save scene as. My computer, for some reason my thing is really weird. This thing is being so strange. So I'm actually going to call this torso 001. Okay. Cool. So what I want to do here is take, like I said, a cylinder and just kind of measure out this arm over here. So from the wrist up, we could also section it off a little bit. So it looks like his elbow's about here. And then we can go something like this and give it a couple edge loops. I also don't mind throwing, you know, the edge loops in around the wrist, and then just kind of doing some basic shaping here. I mean, I could use this thing too over here, which might be a little bit more useful. So let's take this whole piece over here. Throw our arm up here, which is pretty close. To what we already had. And then what I'd like to do is just sort of start shaping out this arm a little bit. So if we need to, we can go in here and do all the same things that we were doing with the previous parts of the body we were working with, which was the torso, right? We're just gonna start trying to match it up to the reference over here. Again, you can snap your pivot with D and the vertice snap with V. And if we end up needing more edge loops, we can do that. For right now, I just kind of want to focus on getting this arm kind of lined up where I think it belongs. And we don't have to perfectly match this because I know it's not the same arm, right? But it does have some similar properties to the one that our character has. Like this guy's pretty jacked and the arm that we got's pretty similar, so I don't mind following it. Just to get some basic shape in here. Okay, we can kind of take a look at this from this angle too. And use our best judgment to maybe from a top view scale this arm out a little bit. I'm gonna scoot it back over to our guy here. Okay. Then what I want to do is delete out the faces here. And at the wrist. And then I want to take these two objects and combine them. And then what I want to do is take this edge and just start kind of might take this and try to line it up a little bit better here. But I'm just going to go ahead and start snapping this circle to here. The other thing I could do is do a bridge where I take this and do under the modeling toolkit and do a bridge. This should have the right amount of edges. Oh, this is a 20-sided cylinder. Oh, that was silly of me. I might need to redo that. That's okay. Let's try this one more time. Because we want to have a 12-sided cylinder. I wasn't paying attention. Going too fast. It's all right. I knew in my head that I needed a 12-sided. I just got ahead of myself. It's okay. Let's come back here. We'll go to the attribute editor, come back here, drop this down to a 12-sided. That's just fine. It happens. Good learning experience. Okay, so let's come back here. I'm going to take these verts, bring them out, bring this up. We'll throw this here, here, and here. We'll throw one here and here. We'll throw one here, here. And again, I don't necessarily need to follow this crazily. Because I am going to come back through and add some muscle definition by doing extrusions. So in all honesty, there's some things that we could take into account here. I think that's probably good for right now. And then we'll come back through and add some more definition on this. So let's get this attached now. Again, I do want to take it from a top view and scale it properly. Let's come in here. Turn soft select on and I can do something like this. Nice way. Okay, there we go. All right, now I need to do my bridge. Let's check this out. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. Take these two mesh, combine, then go back to my face mode. Turn off soft select by hitting the B key. Don't grab all those. We're going to take all these faces here and delete these. Same thing on the wrist. Delete those. Now we should be able to do a bridge here. So if I go edge, edge, and go to modeling toolkit and hit bridge, boom, that should bridge now, which is exactly what I want it to do. Perfect. Okay. That is looking really thin, so let's come through here. Take this and go like this a little bit. Okay. Cool. So now we have an arm attached there. We do need to come through here and get some more definition on that. But that feels pretty good right now. So there are a few muscle groups that I'd like to add into here, right? But we do need to work on how we kind of shape this arm, right? So there should be like an armpit that kind of sits in here, right? So we are going to need to come through and take a bit of a look at this, exactly how I want that to sit in there. But the next thing I'd like to do before we start getting too crazy with that is take my hand over here. And just bring it down. And I do need to mirror this or duplicate special this hand, right? So we'll go modify or edit, sorry, duplicate special. We'll click this little box right here and we'll scale it in the -1 and then hit apply. We're just scaling in the -1 and the X. It goes X, Y, Z. So if we scale -1, it will just duplicate a mirrored copy of that hand, which is good. And then we can work on scaling the hand down, getting it attached. So I just circularized that. I don't know if I want to do it with all of this. Because I don't want it to destroy the hand that I've been working on, right? But at the same time, is kind of helping it get to a point where we can get it attached here. But there's quite a bit of work to do with this hand here. So what we do need to do is do some geometry reduction on this hand itself, okay? In order to get it to connect properly to what we've got going on over here, okay? So what I'd like to do real fast is isolate this hand really quickly, because what we need to do is get this shape down here down to 12 edges, okay? And in reality, I need to get them to line up properly with the edges here. So I'd like to take this edge right here and reduce it down to 1. So there's a couple of different ways we can go about doing this, right? On the top of the hand, I'd like to take this edge right here and do what's called a collapse or a merge collapse. There's a couple different ways we could do it. So if we go like this, merge, collapse edges, collapse edge, we can get it done there. We could also do it here. But what my ideal is to try to get, you know, the proper edge loops to line up. So what collapsing does is it's just going to merge those vertices to one, right? So now my next goal is to try to get this down into one. So if I come in here, I could do something like this and maybe go collapse edge. The one thing I don't want to destroy is like the shape of my hand, but it doesn't seem like it's hurting it too bad right now, right? So, and I can always adjust some of these back if I need to. Next thing to do is to collapse some of these over here to get, you know, let's put our highlights on here. So we've got this one here, this one lining up here. We're just trying to get it all reduced down to the right poly count, right? If I go merge collapse, collapse edge. Again, I don't really care exactly how you get to this point, as long as you don't have to follow the exact way that I reduced, because you know, your geometry should look similar to mine, right, on your hand. But, you know, I don't want you to feel like you have to reduce it the same exact way I'm doing. So I may just take these edges here and collapse these to try to line up this edge loop, right? So I can get this vertice to line up here. And again, my goal is to just make sure that it's not destroying the total shape of my hand, right? So then again, I could just take these two right here and go merge, collapse, collapse edge. I've got that one. This one can go to this one. I can take here. Oops. Take this one and go here, merge, collapse, collapse edges. Same thing here. And these triangles around here, I'm not super concerned about. So I think I'm down to 12 now, which is great. Then I can circularize this again if I go mesh. Sorry, edit mesh, circularize. Just to get it kind of straightened out. Then I can check the hand just in my smooth mode and make sure that I didn't totally destroy it. It's not. There's some spots that I could definitely smooth out through here. To help this out a little bit. But as long as these line up and attach, then I'm good, right? So I'm going to come through here, mesh, combine these. Face mode, I'll just kind of push this up here. And then what I want to do is I am going to take the hand here, and we'll just vertex, we'll just target weld the hand back to the wrist here. I'm just target welding all the way around. And then what I can do is take this edge, delete that edge, and we'll just save that one as the wrist right there. Okay. Now that hand should be attached. Good to go. We can come back through here and, you know, adjust as needed. But now that hand is attached. Like I said, there may be some spots where we need to come back through and maybe tweak this a little bit just to make sure it feels good. But that overall kind of cleanup stage we can do at the end. We're just trying to get this kind of piece together at the moment, right? And then we could throw another edge loop in here if we need to. Okay. Try's all right to have in a model. Yeah, they're fine. They're not going to hurt anything on this hand right here. They'll be just fine where they're at over here. They shouldn't cause too much damage. I would say if you had 1 billion tries, it would be maybe not ideal, but like I said, with this, where it's at on the hand, it's not going to hurt anything. Okay. Where are we at on time right now? 45. Our class goes from 3 to 5:30, correct? We've done quite a bit, so I don't know if I want to push too much farther today. Let's look at our schedule here. I think as long as we, yeah, I don't know if I want to push much further because we've done quite a bit. So I think next week what we'll do is we'll work on all the arm muscle groups, or getting some more extrusions into our arm and working on that a little bit more. And then what we'll do from there is work on the legs and then get to the head, right? Legs, kind of groin and butt, and then back, and then head. So next week we'll probably do a lot of the chest and the arm, and then possibly getting the legs figured out too, after we finish up muscle grouping on the arms. So okay, yeah, I don't want to go much further than where we're at right now. Perfect. Okay, so make sure you save again. I'm going to go ahead and do my delete all by type history one more time. File, save scene as, call this torso 2. Attendance question for today. Let's do here, let's go to my notepad. Let's do bridge, since we used that a couple times today. Okay. So bridge is going to be the attendance answer for today. Yeah, we're at an hour and 45 minutes. We've been modeling straight for almost an hour and 40 minutes. So give you guys a breather, give you guys a chance to catch up and work for about, 30, 40 minutes. Kind of get to where you need to today. Okay. Give you guys a little bit of lab time to work. There's definitely some more cleanup that needs to be done here, right? This hand and wrist area is not perfect. This is still kind of just a noodle arm, right? We need to get kind of the shoulder area defined a little bit better in here. So there's some work to do next week, for sure. Okay. But I will see you guys next week. Okay. Again, thanks for your patience with my kind of mishap last week. Hopefully nothing else happens for the rest of the semester. I don't plan on it. We should be regular scheduled time for the rest of the semester. I really appreciate you all. Hopefully I'm getting everybody's answers in the Discord. I haven't seen anybody else. I think I'm pretty caught up for the most part. So yeah, let's reconvene next week and I will see you all then. Okay. We'll just keep pushing. We're going to keep pushing on our models. I think at this point, make sure for your out of class models that you have picked out something that you want to do. Yeah, the finished hand should just be the posed hand, right? You don't need to turn it in attached to the body. It's just going to be the hand, right? Okay. So don't worry about getting it attached to the body or anything for that. But yeah, it'll just be your finished hand right before we got it attached to the body. Okay. And with that, I'll leave you all. If you have anything or need questions answered from me or your TAs, make sure you're hitting us up in the Discord. And I will see you guys next week. Okay. Have a good week, everybody. Thanks.